I'm the ibtm America Event Director. ibtm America is part of the global ibtm events portfolio, where our show is strictly for the U.S. marketplace. So we do inbound, outbound business. Our focus is inbound and outbound business within the U.S. So 50% of our show floor are international suppliers, and the other 50% of our show floor are U.S. suppliers. We have 80% domestic U.S. planners that come to our show, and 20% of our planners are international. But the international planners are required to place U.S. business, so that's the criteria for them to be accepted to come as a host supplier. Our show is taking place this year in Nashville in June 2016, June 15th through the 17th, 2016. We're going to be at the Gaylord Opryland. The goal of our show is to create a community where all of the buyers and suppliers can network with each other, build relationships, connect, and build an experience together. This year, for the first time, ibtm America is doing Discovery Day. And what that means is we're bringing all of our suppliers and our buyers and our press into Nashville so they can experience Nashville as a destination, get a little taste of the city. Nashville has a lot of culture. Nashville is all about country music, the history of country music. We want to make sure that our buyers and suppliers are really experiencing that. So we're going to take them out on the town. They'll visit the Country Music Hall of Fame. They'll do a little city tour. They'll also see some of the new hotels that are being built in Nashville. Because Nashville is such a hot destination within the U.S., it's in high demand. So they almost don't have enough hotels currently to accommodate the demand. So there's a lot of new business, a lot of MICE business happening in Nashville, and they're building new hotels to meet those demands. So it's really exciting. So that's really the first day. So the first day is really an icebreaker. So all the buyers and exhibitors can get to know each other. That evening, we're taking them back to the Gaylord, where Gaylord is actually hosting an event that evening. And there's going to be some country music entertainment, which will be really exciting. The Nashville CBC is going to get involved in that as well. And then day 2 and day 3 of the event is when all the appointments will take place. So ibtm America is a one-to-one event. So we have equal number of suppliers and equal number of planners. We're expecting over 200 buyers and planners to come to our show this year. And we're engaging in a mutual match process. So exhibitors will select the buyers they want to meet with through our sophisticated software program. And the planners will pick the exhibitors that they want to meet with, and they will mutually match up and create appointments based on that mutual criteria. Once we open up the diaries, if buyers and suppliers see that there are gaps in their schedules, they can then do self-selected appointments, which means that they can send appointment requests to each other. And the buyer and the exhibitor has the opportunity to accept or decline that appointment, because we want to make sure that the appointment they have is truly relevant and meets their business needs. So that's really exciting. We're doing the mutual match for the first time this year. It's going to be 100% mutual. Each day is going to include a little networking. It's going to have a little an educational component. We're going to have CEU accreditation, an education program that will be CEU accredited. We're also going to have luncheons and breakfasts. We're going to have a closing brunch that Friday. And we're hoping to end the appointments around 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. on Friday, so all the planners and exhibitors can get back home and be at their houses for dinner that evening. So we're really excited about the show this year. We're making some really significant changes that will really enhance the experience for everyone involved.
How strict are the criteria for selecting the exhibitors and selecting the buyers? How do you really select the top guns, as it were? What do you...
So we only accept the cream of the crop when it comes to our planners. We know from our suppliers, once they commit to our event, we talk to them, we survey them, we set up a conference call with them, or we meet with them in person to find out what type of buyers they're looking for. So if they're looking for corporate corporate planners, specifically within the automotive industry, we'll be sure that we go out and recruit corporate planners that are in the automotive industry. So we start our recruitment process really based on the exhibitors' needs, which is important. And we know what they're looking for. They want to see corporate planners, they want to see incentive planners, and they want to see association buyers. So we do our best to meet those needs with the types of buyers that we're accepting to our show.
So that's something I didn't quite understand, is that you do include the associations in this as well. It's not just the kind of traditional MICE market, you're actually including the bigger places, associations as well.
Yeah, so we target like the American Bar Association, big associations within the U.S. that we'll target. If they have business to place and it's current and relevant, they will be a good fit for our show, as long as they meet those exhibitors' needs. If there's an association buyer that hasn't placed business in the past 5 years, they probably wouldn't be a good fit because we're just looking for current business. So it really depends on the profile of the buyer.
This is the second year
of the new format. Yeah.
Of the new format.
Yep.
So how's it shaping up? How do you see the change in the business model from past years to this year? How do you see the difference? How is it being received by the players?
Well, so we did our first launch of IBTM America in 2015, and that was in Chicago. We received really good positive feedback about the event, but we, of course, always receive feedback. And we like to take that feedback and make improvements to our show to make it better for everyone, buyers and exhibitors. And one of the things that the exhibitors mentioned that they would like to see moving forward is a pure mutual match. And that is why we actually made this change. They wanted to ensure that there was no filler appointments or appointments that might not be relevant for them. So by making it purely mutual, they get to decide who they want to meet with. They have complete control over their schedules. So that was probably the biggest change that we made to accommodate the exhibitors based on the feedback that they gave.
What's the driver behind that? Is it particularly American market, or is it, what's the reason for that?
So the reason why any exhibitor will exhibit at our show is strictly because they're interested in the American market. We try to, I guess deter is probably the best word to describe it, but we don't want international planners meeting with international suppliers. They come to IBTM World for that. Our show is strictly on the U.S. marketplace. So if an international buyer does come to our show, they're meeting with U.S. suppliers because they have business. And we wouldn't accept that international planner if they don't have relevant and current U.S. business. They wouldn't be a good fit for our show.
I guess that must now, because it's such a global market, it's a global economy now. I mean, we have some very big players on the market now, so I guess some of those have to kind of come into play.
But, and the thing is, we have so on the opposite, when it comes to outbound business, or when it comes to, we know that our planners, we know what destinations our planners want to bring their meetings to. We know what's popular for the U.S. So if a U.S. planner is looking for to place international meetings or to do international meetings, they're interested in Western Europe. They're interested in Southern Mediterranean Europe. They're interested in Asia. They're interested in South America. We know those are the regions that our planners want to see, so we try to target those regions specifically for our events.
What's the biggest market? Is it inbound or outbound?
Within the U.S.? It's a really good question. I guess it depends on the planner. I mean, we've spoken to some corporate planners where they do 50% international and 50% U.S. Then we've spoken to some planners where it's a little bit less. Maybe it's 15% international and 85% U.S. So it really just depends on the planner. A lot of the agencies or incentive houses within the U.S. do a lot of international business because they have such a wide client base. The agencies could represent 50 clients within the U.S. and all those clients have different needs. So agencies usually place more international business. When you're working for a big Fortune 1000 company, Sometimes you have regional offices in different countries. So if a meeting needs to be planned in that country or that region, they usually have the office in that region plan that meeting. So it all really depends. But when you have a mid-sized corporation that may not have a regional office elsewhere, that mid-tier or that mid-level corporate planner does everything. They plan the domestic and international meetings. So it really just depends. The thing with the types of buyers, since our exhibitor target is 50% international, 50% domestic, we really are trying to make sure that the majority of our U.S. planners have international business. So it's really important that the amount of meetings that they place is 50% international and 50% domestic, so we can accommodate all the appointments that we need to have on our show floor.